Yes, sir. Good evening and welcome, everyone. Welcome to episode 65 of the Fanatic Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Blocka. Very excited to have listen, it's 2026. This is a big year for the Fanatic Sports Podcast, and we're already off to a massive start because we've got ACC Network and ESPN play-by-play man Ford Martin joining us today. Pleasure to have you here, Ford. Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
So, and one of the cool things about what I get to do with this podcast is that I build networks and I get to mingle and rub elbows, digital elbows with very, very cool people, very, very dope individuals who work in the same like mind as myself. And adding you to the fold is really, really awesome for a myriad of reasons. But I think mainly because, look, you were very receptive. I saw, I think, just one post and the storytelling. I think this was like the game winner for Yale, was it? Or I don't know, one of the, it was an Ivy League school, I remember it, but an absolute outstanding call. And what made it so special was just in that 15 seconds of you, the way you set up and told that story was outstanding for me. Now, I started in sports broadcast as a play-by-play. Well, I didn't start as a play-by-play person, but I did get the opportunity to work in that field and really, really enjoy it. And so I'm also very, very always intrigued by those who do, and they get to do it at the high level like you do. You work for us. The mothership, as they call it. And so it's really, really cool to have you on, man. Thank you so much for joining us again.
Yeah, it's great. It's good to be here. I see your terrible towel in the background, and you had a pretty exciting night last night. I've seen it for a long time.
One of the things I always say as a Steelers fan is that I eat too much fried food to be a Steelers fan. I mean, every time it's heart attack every time. And I'll be fair. I will be fair and tell you that we should not be lining up to play the Texans in the playoffs. We should be 9-8 and getting ready to work on our offseason plan. But I don't know if you caught the news clip. They had a Catholic priest. He was like, I guess, doing something in the end zone, and it happened to be that end zone that Luke missed that kick in. And look, this is a rookie. This kid's got a big leg. He's got a bright future in front of him. Please do not at any point forget that this kid was a star throughout this year, and he had one really, really bad moment. If I'm not mistaken, I think the ground was slippery. Look, Boswell missed the PAT before. There's lots and lots of there's lots and lots of ifs to it, man. But that just, God bless him. I want to feel sad for him, but it's in my. I think I signed in part and on not having to give away as much of my soul to be a Steelers fan. Part of it was I had to sign on to never feel bad for a Raven. So this is all we got, man. All right, so for those of you who are checking us out, we are live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. My man Ford here is a big-time play-by-play guy. He's also a digital content creator, and he runs a digital production company called Mach10. I'm very excited to talk to you about some of the things you've done and seen in the ACC. I've checked out. I know there's some stuff with soccer. There's football. There's basketball. Do it all guy. But before all of that, the most important thing is that we call ourselves the Fanatic Sports Podcast. And as you know, as a play-by-play person, you probably met one or two of people who inhabit the name Fanatic to the core. And those are the people that are that we try to market to as the crazies, if you will, the extra passionate. And so, and that's my favorite part about sports is the fact that this is the first time this year, or the first time in probably 3 months that I have said the name Ravens on air. Off air, I only call them the Ratbirds, and I will not call them anything other. But I try to be professional on air. That passion and that crazy is what I'm all about. So, and I see you got your Titans shirt on. So obviously you're a Titans fan. But like we talked about off air, give me any level, doesn't matter, high school, college, pee-wee, you pick, any sport, basketball, cricket, volleyball, any level. You tell me your favorite team and how you became a fan of that team.
I mean, I think it's right with the Titans. They've been my bread and butter for as long as I can remember. Unfortunately, it's really because I was born in Nashville. I was born in Nashville and lived there for just a few months or so, and then eventually my father, who was in NASCAR, was a crew chief for a long time. Moved over and obviously to where all NASCAR and racing is at in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's where I reside now. But have a lot of family over there, so I'm all about the Nashville Predators, Tennessee Volunteers. So everything when it comes down to Tennessee sports, that's who I support. And so at least as far as my T-shirt, not the greatest day yesterday, getting beat by Jacksonville as much as we did, but and then losing Cam Ward, but. Luckily, no surgery for him, as they were announced today. Just an AC joint sprain, and doesn't need surgery. So we'll let him heal, and hopefully he returns and comes back better because he's brought a lot of exciting things. At least this year, he's gotten better throughout the year. But I've seen a lot of those injuries happen. Young, promising quarterbacks. Marcus Mariota had a great second year, and then broke his femur, and then he really wasn't the same after that. So. I'm expecting hopefully more things here from this team, so we'll see what happens.
Fingers crossed, prayers up for Cam that he comes back fully healthy. He's a fun kid to watch. His story's fantastic. No stars out of high school, which I kind of, I've got a bone to pick about that because a lot of these kids were in that COVID year. And they're saying, they didn't get any stars in the COVID year. Well, nobody did. It was 2020, if you heard of it. Yeah. But no stars out of high school. He works his way up the ledger. He ends up at Washington State and has an outstanding year there before the portal. And the beauty of his story is that the portal is doing what it's supposed to do, which is helping kids who may be in a bad situation get into a better situation. And so I love his story. Let me start here before we jump fully into college. What is it that you would want in the draft? Which direction would you want to go in the draft with the Titans?
Well, there's a lot of holes that need to be filled. That's for sure. Look, Tony Pollard isn't getting any younger in the backfield. I mean, I know he's coming off, which I would probably argue the quietest 1,000-yard rushing season in recent memory. You look at the receivers on the outside. Calvin really just broke his ankle. And you have two young, promising wide receivers, Chim DK, who's I would expect to be an All-Pro. I mean, he had a great we'll just announce to the Pro Bowl as a returner. He had a great receiving season. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Amon St. Brown, the way he kind of plays and kind of his story a little bit. Alec Iomanner is a really good outside receiver. I think he's more of a wide receiver 2 at best. Yeah. So you need a wide receiver. So you're looking at a guy like a Carnell Tate coming out of Ohio State, a Jordan Tyson. Those look like they're going to be the top 2 receivers in the draft.
Okay.
But you look at edge. I mean, you got Bain, you got Reese, you got Falk out of Auburn. Like you got a lot of good edge rushers coming out in the top 10. So I expect Las Vegas and the Jets. I would expect we go quarterback. We'll see what Dante Moore does if he returns to Oregon or not.
Sure.
But or Cardinals are going to have probably the best. I mean, I would probably expect them to look quarterback in free agency, and maybe we'll see what they do as far as the draft. But Tennessee gets the second choice when it comes to that. So there's a lot of holes that need to be filled. So that's why I was hoping. I mean, we were one. Go back to the Cardinals game, I think in week 5, and it was the running back for the Cardinals dropped the ball at the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
And that jump started Tennessee coming back in the fourth quarter. They were down 21-6 in the fourth. They came back to win that game for their first win of the year. If you didn't drop that ball at the 1, you're looking at Tennessee picking number 1 overall and trading the house and getting a lot of picks.
Yeah, I think what Chicago did in 23, or was that 22 or 23 when they gave away Bryce Young for a farm. I think that was 22 or 23, but
I would say 22
when they traded, I think that's it.
No, it was 23 because 24 was Caleb Williams' first year, so it was 23 was the year before that. So 23.
Okay, so what they did in 23 was, I think that's going to be a blueprint for a lot of people. You would think because the Titans have a lot of holes, so do the Raiders. Honestly, I mean, I know the Jets need a quarterback, and I'll be honest, I know Mendoza's looked really, really good, and I saw something on Twitter the other day that said he sounds like if ChatGPT talked. He just always says the right thing. But I mean, personally, I would look at if I'm the Raiders, I wait for a more dynamic guy, and I feel you trade down to 9. I mean, think about what if they traded with you guys and took y'all's pick. Then there's a ton of options, and I think that's the blueprint. Is instead of going to get that number 1 guy right away, especially if you can't protect him, which was another question. I actually, ironically enough, that you're a Titan fan, I was speaking with our podcast. We had our fantasy championship yesterday, our championship celebration, anyways. And so we were talking about the Titans, and that offense is a good looking offense. There's a lot of great pieces, but the offensive line may be the one thing on offense that may be the most pressing. I'm a Steelers fan, so naturally I saw Dan Moore quite a bit, and I thought he was a pretty good offensive tackle, but I don't know if he's the premier guy to protect your quarterback. So that might be an option as well. But like I said, a lot of holes to fill, and that number that top pick can fill a lot more holes now, and then it speeds up the process in the long run. So that's got to be the blueprint, I would think.
Yeah, and we just need a lot of help. I think that's for sure. So I'm kind of glad the season's over.
Well, and in the division that you're in, I'm actually starting to work on the prep for our postseason run and wrapping up the NFL season. And when we talked in the preseason, I did not expect the AFC South to be as competitive as it was throughout the season, especially when the Colts were as dominant as they were to open up the season. And I just had the feeling that the Texans were going to bring it back around, and that I didn't expect the Jags to, really put it all together the way they did. So, I mean, it's just really, really impressive to see what that division ended up being here in the end at Week 18. I definitely didn't have that on my bingo card. So,
I think a lot of people, the AFC South was sort of the butt of every joke. And now it's turned out to be the NFC South this year. But
yeah,
it was a long time. The AFC South was that, and they've pretty competitive. And I mean, if Daniel Jones didn't get hurt, you're looking at maybe even 3 AFC South teams getting in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And another amazing story that, there's going to be a bunch of them that are going to come out at the end of the season. Just players that, comeback players you don't expect. The return of, or Daniel Jones looking like he was he should have been a 6th pick. That's just, because his entire time in New York, he played like a 6th rounder, not a 6th pick. And so for him to come out and be so good this year, it's a shame that he hurt himself, but it just a blast to have watched all of that and, what it meant for the entirety of the league. So look, we're short on time, and so that means that you're guaranteed you have to come back so we can spend a little more time. But I want to jump into a couple things really quickly. The first one being the college football playoffs and the portal news. I know you're over at the ACC Network, so you're getting a firsthand look at a lot that's going on in the ACC and a quietly competitive conference. Talk a little bit about what you've seen in the college football playoffs and portal news that piqued your interest.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things you look at it right now. I know that Texas Tech just got the number one quarterback, I'm forgetting his name, but from Cincinnati. They've had a pretty good, at least, start to everything right now so far. I think another one, when you look down the SEC, Ty Simpson, it's looking like when On3 was talking about earlier this week, what changes, what might go on as far as Ty Simpson gets it's looking like maybe a top half of a first-round grade. He's going to enter the draft. And obviously, if Dante Moore returns to Oregon, that might open the door for Ty Simpson. I know he didn't really play as well as he wanted to down the stretch. Obviously, getting pulled in the Rose Bowl wasn't great, but it's looking like there's some at least reports out there that Tennessee would be a good fit if he does return, because there's talks about him moving into the transfer portal if he comes out and moving to a rival like Tennessee. You don't really see someone, a starting quarterback at Alabama, want to move on, especially a player that could get a first-round draft pick or a first-round grade. So that's going to be a big question. So, but I think we look at the playoffs right now. It's I think what the committee might make a change of this season again, instead of, they made a change obviously as far as the seeding. I think now we may have seen the end of Tulane and James Madison, those type of teams getting in, and more so reserving those spots for like a Notre Dame and a Texas that could have been those final two spots that could have gotten into the playoffs. So I think we might see another change to that regard. But the playoffs they've obviously, we had a couple games that you really wouldn't expect. Obviously, the Texas Tech game, them getting shut out, was a bit of a surprise. Texas A&M getting beat early on.
Yeah.
But I think you're looking for – I think a lot of people right now are pulling for Ole Miss just because of they're more the underdog in this whole college football playoff. Everyone didn't like the way that Lane Kiffin left. It's not the first time Lane Kiffin's left a place like this. Trust me, I know. I'm a Tennessee fan. So I saw how Lane Kiffin left. So I think a lot of people would like to see Ole Miss do some work. I think it's going to be really exciting to see what they could pull together. And obviously Miami right now, as far as shaping their program there with Carson Beck and when he's been able to provide for South Beach this year. And so I think a lot of people are favoring Ole Miss when it comes down to the end right now. I know I am.
All right. So now I'm from Arkansas originally, but I'm based in Baton Rouge. So with every fiber in me, I want to see Ole Miss do so well. But I'm kind of old school. I'm 40, so I remember that second run with the U in the 2000s. That was amazing to watch in person. And so a little bit of me wants to see the U get back to greatness. There's something special about college football when the University of Miami is at the top of the heap. You can look the last 40 years and you can see what it does for society as a whole, as well as the community of college football when Miami's good. So it's great to see them this far. And so I'm kind of torn because it's just the pettiness in me wants to see Ole Miss do well and then watch Lane Kiffin do nothing while he's here the 3 years he's going to be here. And then he's going to move on. He's going to get an NFL job. I'm sure of it. I got scared for a little bit. Every time the LSU fires their head coach, as a Razorback fan, I get very scared because there's some freak athletes around here. I don't know if you've heard of any of the receivers that come out of here, like Justin Jefferson. I know J.J. McCarthy hadn't heard of him, but the rest of us have. Jamar Chase and those crew. There's a ton of athletes, and one smart offensive mind will make LSU a dangerous program. If you don't believe me, see the 2019 LSU Tigers and what Joe Brady did for that team. They were beating people by 35, Ford. It was unreal. So it scared me a little bit that Lane Kiffin is such a great offensive mind. But we just got to weather the storm. He's only going to be here 3 years, and he's going to look good, and then he's out of there. So that's what we're hoping, man. So let's hop over here really quickly. So now, working with the ACC, you're in maybe the premier basketball league in college basketball for girls and guys. And with college football coming to its end, NFL football, pro football, or the NFL playoffs are about to start, but this is about to be the time for college basketball. They are about to take center stage now that the year's turned over. Is there anything that piqued your interest from college basketball?
Well, I think right now it's a lot of it's pretty much all over the place right now currently. It's been, when you look at, obviously Duke right now is playing really well, and as far as how the conferences or how everything is starting to play out itself, I haven't called an ACC game yet this season as far as when it comes to basketball yet. It's been more of I think my hand's been on a lot of other things here to start the year, from motorsports and the football side of things cutting off and everything. But with that said, I think when you're around a lot of the schools right here in North Carolina, Wake Forest, NC State, and UNC and Duke, I think when you look at Duke right now, they're playing really well, and I think very familiar with that program, obviously, and they have. I really quietly think they're going to be the team to beat this season.
It looks like it. So the Razorbacks played both Duke and Michigan State. I underestimated how good Michigan State was. I was fully aware with the Boozer Brothers show coming to Duke how good they were going to be, and Duke has lived up to that billing by far. Now they haven't been like dominating people, and I know they took a couple L's. They took one loss. I'm for sure. They've only got the one loss, if I'm not mistaken, right? And that was kind of a shocker. I was shocked the way they were able to withstand and beat Michigan State. Those are the best two looking teams, but there's still Arizona. Arkansas is pretty good. There's a lot of really good teams. Like I said, it's a bit chaotic in college basketball. And again, as a cheerleader for foolishness, Ford, I can tell you, I'm a big fan of all the messiness that one team beats another, and then that team, it's all over the place, and I love to see it this time of year, and it's going to make for a fun spring going into and a fun March Madness as well. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, you got Arizona right now at the top right now, and I know they're going to be tough, but I think just based on the long run, it's I said it before the year, and I say it now. I think Duke is still going to be the team to beat.
I absolutely agree with you there. So we got just a little bit of time left. Because I know you got some stuff to do. And again, I do appreciate you joining us. For those who are checking us out, Ford Martin here from the ACC Network, and of course Mach10 Digital, which is exactly what I wanted to talk about next. Tell me a little bit about how that started. I know it's been a few years with that. Tell me a little bit about how you got into Mach10 Digital and some of the cool things you're doing with that.
Yeah, so it really started out just I had a full-time job. I wanted more focus on the play-by-play side of things with me, and that was more of like a side gig that just started up and wanted to run. It still operates. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, my hand is more in the sports broadcasting side, but more just so work when I did a bunch of some weddings and things, and worked on a couple of podcasts and did some editing with that, and worked with a lot of creators. So. And doing some stuff, some photography with some race teams and things. So that was something fun that I started out just because I wanted to get away from my full-time job where I had my full attention. This was more of a side project. I can make my own schedule to allow me to go off and do a lot of the play-by-play work, and working with that degree, and obviously doing some stuff with the ACC and with the Big South Conference that's around here, and do a lot of their games, and NASCAR, and just the American Conference, just all over the place pretty much.
You're all over. It's beautiful.
Try to have as much do as much work as I can. That's something that I that I love doing, and it's great. I really like the time that I've been given to be able to go do a lot more things, but it's been great.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I think what you've done so far is really awesome, and I know there's a lot more in store for you. So, like I said, and I called this, I titled this "Listen Up, I Got a Story," because, like I said, man, in your play-by-play work, everything that I've seen, and these clips have been really, really cool to check out, man. Just the way you display the story through and set everything up is so it's well above the mark, man. Very, very good work from you. Tell me one story real quickly before we go. Maybe your favorite story, or maybe the favorite call you've made. Anything come to mind there?
Man, I think it comes off to, because right now, a bit of a backstory on it. With there being so many basketball games and so many soccer games, there's more opportunity for more people. When it comes to football, I'm on the younger side. I mean, I still like to say it. Maybe some people disagree, some people would agree. I'm 30. Sure. I just turned 30 years old, so I have a lot of. When it comes to football, it's harder to get some of those bigger games because they're more held by a lot of people. So, but I still have blessed to have the opportunity. I did mostly on the FCS side when it comes to football. So when I did, excuse me, I had a Gardner-Webb football game. They were playing the College of Charleston. They had a game, and I just remember working with my partner in Bryson Burns, and I think it was the favorite call that I had. And before the game, it was just something that was set up. It was called the Barbecue Bowl, and in North Carolina and South Carolina, they've had this for about 4 years or so. This is back when it was the Big South Conference. Then the Big South, when it comes to football, they merged with the OVC. Okay. And so, but these were the only two teams that represented the Big South. Okay. So they started this Barbecue Bowl, and the loser has to send the winner a plate of barbecue and feed the entire team. So,
love that.
Yeah, it was great. It was awesome to really hear all about that leading up to the game, and it was an incredible story because I get to hear about it because the quarterback for Gardner-Webb is Cole Pennington, and if you're familiar with the last name, that's the son of NFL quarterback Chad Pennington. Yes, sir. And I was able to listen in about everything that went on. It was really, really cool to hear the backstory on the rivalry and what went on. But it was setting up, coming down to the wire. It was a tie football game, and we're having a blast. I think probably 40 points I felt like were scored in the fourth quarter. I almost felt like it had the vibes of that Steelers-Ravens game last night. Yeah. So many points would be scored in the last little bit of the game. And we're going to our last commercial break. There's a timeout. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And me and my partner were just kind of talking a little bit about, like, all right, how do we want to set this up? What do we want to talk about here? Let's be sure to just friendly banter between me and my analyst. Just we want to make sure we set this up correctly. And there's a note that I have to make in my head mentally. I'm like, all right, hey, if they go down the field here and score a touchdown or get a field goal, I got to know how to say this. Yep. Where is an FCS crowd, there's not as big of a crowd. So, for example, if you're watching a Georgia-Tennessee game, right, and Georgia's about to line up for the game-winning field goal, and they're at home and they win the game, you want to let the crowd, you want to say your call and get out. Okay. You don't want to be the reason. I mean, we saw Mike Tirico last night. He missed the field goal, and then the Steelers win the North, and boom, Tirico was out of it. That's why
he's the GOAT.
Yeah, and so we were I'm making mental notes on things I want to do. Gardner-Webb's moving down the field. It's like 10 seconds left, and they're at like Charleston's 40-yard line. And I'm like, well, they need about 5 more yards to get in the field goal range. Mm-hmm. Are we looking at Hail Mary, what they want to do? Are they going to try this long field goal here? And I think maybe try to get them jump off sides, get a free 5. And eventually they just threw like a quick, like everyone's standing up, like as if it was just going to be like, hey, we're just going to let the clock, we're going to throw a Hail Mary here with 6 seconds left. Like you're risking everything, no timeouts to go. Well, they threw one to the sideline on the near side, just threw it really quick, got out of bounds. So I'm like, okay, here we go. We got a field goal coming up. My partner's jacked up. Like, we're really excited. Like, all right, this is my first time in football, high school, college football, that I've had the chance to call a game-winning field goal. Making sure I set this up correctly. And ended up Charlie Villarreal from 48, his season long, split the uprights, barely had enough distance on it.
Yeah.
And they said, like, Charlie Villarreal, that game winner, and Gardner Webb is victorious in the barbecue bowl.
Okay, yeah, I saw that clip. That's awesome.
And it was really cool because that made the waves around. My agent, we were laughing about it, just how that moment was. My family and I came home and watched that. I hate, a lot of times I have some calls I don't like. I hate listening to some of my calls, but I have to go do it sometimes. But that was one call I was the most proud of, because I felt like, hey, it's one of those where I'm driving the way home and I'm like, man, like, I felt like I really nailed that call. That can mean a lot, for me and everything, and put it on social media. And it did well as far as the feedback and views, and which is something I love doing as far as the social media stuff. And that's the only way you got to stand out and doing stuff.
That's right.
I thought something that really, makes my stuff stand out. And but I really enjoy that stuff. And that was a call that I really appreciated and loved, and I look back on it still, and it's a pretty cool moment.
Man, as a play-by-play person, I can tell you, and trust me, I've had plenty of like, man, what were you doing calls, right? So, but
trust me, I have had 100 of those. As far as what am I saying, what am I doing, it goes back to the point where I was just saying about going back and listening to some of my calls. And I'm like, gosh, what am I doing? So I've had a lot of those for sure.
But man, that kick, the Villarreal, I believe his name was, or whatever his, that kick was that was a fantastic kick, and an even better call by you, man. And that's what I mean. Like, the way you set up the story, and even in just that short clip, I could feel the tension, and it was really, really cool. But I think probably the coolest thing is just understanding that the call into barbecue bowl and the backstory behind that is pretty darn sweet. Well, man, look, I hate we got to shut it off so quickly, but we'll definitely have to have you back on to do a little bit more chatting. I know you got a good number of stories to tell, and I'm looking forward to hearing them, man. For those of you, if you're joining us, sorry you missed an awesome show, but it is on replay. Fort Martin here, man. Thank you again for your time. Any shameless plugs? Anything you want to throw out there before we go?
Man, I'm just blessed. I mean, the Lord has blessed me to have this life and to do this work when it comes down to the play-by-play stuff, and it's opportunities. Like, I got a busy week. I hate we have to cut it short. I got some stuff I got to take care of tonight, and then I'm out to Vegas to do the radio-controlled RC World Championships out in Las Vegas. Something I've never done before. So
that's awesome.
So big race event. Wednesday through Sunday. It's going to be awesome. So if you're in Las Vegas, the South Point Casino and their amphitheater and their arena, come out and say hello. But it's going to be an awesome event out there. Never done RC racing before. Obviously, NASCAR on the racing, the motorsports side I've done. The RC racing is something that's going to be something new for me, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. And so it's going to be great. But would love to come back on and be a part of the show and do something a little bit longer with you.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to it, man. And good luck out there. Safe travels in Vegas. I think it's still sunny out there. Lucky you.
It's sunny and a little cold.
It's a little breezy here in Louisiana, but it's not like sweet or warm. It's just like heat on your arms. That's it, man. Well, thank you again for joining us. Fort Martin, ACC Network, ESPN, Mach10 Digital. Awesome guy, great storyteller. More importantly, a fantastic mustache as well. So it's
thank you. I appreciate that.
Listen, I've been growing this since November, and this is what I got. So it's a gift to grow facial hair. So
my wife loves it, so that's all that matters.
Fantastic. Hey, thank you again. Thank you to everybody that's checked us out. We certainly appreciate you. Happy New Year to everyone. And as I always say, tough times don't last. Tough people do. Thank y'all for watching the Fanatic Sports Podcast.